Welcome to Femmes Into Play. This week we are going to each show clips of ourselves from before we knew about social typing, and find things that speak something about our social type. And we'll each present one, and then we'll kind of talk about it a little bit afterwards. And I'll go first. My clip is from 2 years ago. From an interview, and I have a fun little story. So Sasha came up with this idea like a week ago, and at first I thought I would go look at my videos from when I was typed, and I did some journaling after that. But as I thought about it more through the week, I remembered this interview I did where I kind of felt during the interview that there was some difference that wasn't totally making sense to me in regards to my type and the differences I was seeing. And here now, 2 years later, I see that it was socials. So this interview was with Kendrick, who's personality trainer, and I will put a link to the show below, because if you watch the whole thing, it's really interesting. You can see the big difference between me, a 4, and there's another INTP in the interview who's, I'm pretty sure, is a 1. He has, not confirmed this, but I feel like from that it was pretty clear. At the time, I was trying to figure out how it was coming from the fact that he's sleep, blast, play, which is a big difference. I'm consume, play, blast. He is an INTP who's sleep, blast, play, and I'm double feminine and he's double masculine. And so I kind of thought that was the difference, but then you see more and more videos and you're like, but that's not really everyone's difference. Well, maybe, as Dave says, maybe it's cultural, so on. But watching Shan's number 1 video, Shan talked about in her deep dive how when she gets money as a flex, she takes it very seriously, and that she sees that with people who are lead flex, that they especially take money, if they take money from someone else, it is a very, very big deal to them, and they can almost be kind of weird about it or what have you. So in this interview, one of the questions that Kendrick asked was similar to that. He was asking about favor stacking, which is something that they were all talking about as kind of an ST sleep thing, because in that interview, he had 2 INTPs, an ESFJ, an ISFJ, and an ENTP, and so he was kind of getting all of our ideas on ST sleep, which is funny, he had a couple sleep lasters there, and I was the most yeah. And I felt the most sleep last, because it was like I have these things the least, but that is interesting to see. So being friends, I feel like I have sleep last doubly. So my response is what I'll show, but I think too, if you want to go watch the video, it's interesting to see Andros's response. He's lead flex, where he very much took everything seriously. Throughout the video, he and I had these opposites, and I really think that the whole video, our opposites were actually our socials, more so than the differences in our 512. But here's the video so you guys can see at least what I said.
I'll just start with what you said with the favor stacking, because that is very interesting. I feel like favor stacking is something that I definitely at some point had to learn in life, but for me it was a positive thing because I didn't realize it was a thing, and then people would give to me and I wouldn't think, oh, I should give back. Like, I was very TI selfish when I was younger, but perhaps too, being sleep last, that made that even more so. And so I definitely have had to grow into like being like, oh, that person just did something for me. I should be mindful about doing something for them. And I'm sure like the people who have FE are probably like, this girl is crazy. How is she not aware of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that was my clip, and as I'll say, like, some of it is probably my sleep lastness, but some of it is the friendsness, where it's like everything that's mine is yours, yours is mine. But I am lead consumed. Like, when I was younger, I think I would ask to borrow things far more than I could, but in this mindset of like, well, what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. So, what did you guys think of that clip?
So you would give as much as you take?
Yeah, like if people, well, particularly young Julie, I mean, that was the thing. It was like, someone's like, can I have that? Sure. It's already yours, isn't it? I don't, like, it's like a weird unawareness of it.
I think that you are treating people equally. So this is different for me because when you get favor, you don't think about paying back instantly, because why should you, right? We are equally. So whenever you will need help, I will help you. This is such obvious thing. But not for me. Like every favor is like, oh, no, don't help me because I don't know how to pay you. I don't want to pay you. Don't do it. It's not easy to bear. So just don't make favor for me. I will do favors for you because I would like to have this like I actually want you to owe me something. And for me, it is like super obvious. Be nice next time to me. I'm paying, like I'm buying your niceness to me by doing you favors. Like this is how it works for me. This is like trade-off. So we are not equal. Like you are buying from me and yeah, I'm buying from you, but it's like the business. We are not equal. That's in that term.
Sasha, this was brilliant because each of us had such a distinct reaction to all of this. Like, this is brilliant. Okay, sorry. Because I can understand what Magda's saying, where I'm going, please don't do me a favor. I have to write in my responsibility book now what I owe you. It's different than Magda's, though, in that, like, the responsibility always feels like to me like a burning, like it's just like if I don't do it, it's gonna burn down. Mm-hmm. I think that is in the number 2 video on the Shan's thingies there. But that's what stands out most to me is like I like the, you know, like it's nice, but like then I'm just like, ah shit, I gotta set an alarm for when I do a favor for this person again. So it's like pressure, but also like I don't I feel the pressure, I guess. For you, like it makes sense for you, and I always am very for you, Julie. Like it always I'm not gonna be able to analyze this like concisely of how fascinating it is for me, like probably specifically that, like, no, you need this shirt, take it. Whereas I feel like our type is, I don't know if it's our type in general, but I feel like we're a little more like, I don't know what it is. What's the word?
Hippie-ish? Like kind of give, you know, just kind of like,
I think it's like the IP thing in that, like, I don't know. Like, maybe it's the opposite way. Like, we wouldn't say we need a shirt or something, but like, I don't know. Unprocessed.
Okay.
I put it in mind.
Yes. Yeah. I give away things a lot. Like a lot. But if somebody tries to give me like a physical object, especially if they want it back, I won't accept it. I'm like, so many people have tried to lend me a book, and I'm like, if I crease it wrong, I don't want the responsibility of the look on your face when I give it back. I don't know how to handle physical objects without. I'm not a perfectionist. This thing is gonna. If you, like, I don't want you to give me something that I need to be responsible for that's not mine and then give it back.
I'm learning that now. Like, that when someone gives me something, to be like, could I change this thing negatively that would upset them when I return it? Yeah, like
Yes.
I'm learning that now, you guys. So silly.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what it
I
is,
appreciate
because I
you
feel
hearing
like
that.
all our type or IPs in general are always like hyper aware of when we ever take anything from the tribe that's away from us. And then for you, Julie, it seemed like it's I can see that it's not as big of a deal, as big of an IP deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's just an interesting
yeah.
thing that I can see.
But it's like, but I have to learn it. And it's like, my savior wants me to learn it, because people can become really upset, because it is like, I will borrow it and then, yeah, like a book or something will be creased. Or I tend not to borrow books, but you know, like, or I'll borrow it for too long or something. It's like, it upsets my savior then in a weird cycle where it's like, oh crap, okay, well, they care. And I'm learning it's like, no, most of the world cares, and I need to think more about it, both when I am given something and when I put something out into the world as well.
This
It's
sounds
like,
so similar to our gifts last thing for all of us in love languages.
Yeah.
It's just like, what? It's just paper. Like the
Yes.
not really respecting sensory. It's not that big of a
Right.
deal. Because I relate to what you're saying too. Like, I get weird through having had bad tried chemicals of like, if I creased a page or anything, and then they were like, oh God. So I'm like, oh, now I don't want to upset them again. So it's like, I relate to that too. But I think
Yeah.
it's just we're not thinking about this.
oh,
that
because
stuff.
of the feminine sensory as well.
Yeah, like it feels like that has something to do with it, where we're not putting too much stock in. Like, it's not that I'm not respecting someone's thing, because I'm like, I respect you as a person, I care about your object, but like, we're not even really thinking about it that way, because the sensory is always just like, boop, just like, whatever, gone.
No, that's true.
To me.
Okay, I did borrow a book recently, but she like would not let me not borrow it, because it.
Right.
Yeah, she would not let me not, and I was like, no, like this is like trying to explain this to her. You know, I'm like, no, like I have a problem borrowing things. I don't want to ruin your thing. You love this book, like please don't give it to me. But she was so insistent, and then she was upset when I gave it back, and I was like, well, how do you read books? And she was like, I hold them like this. And I'm very careful with each page, and I'm like, then don't give me your book.
Okay, get rid of that friend now. Just kidding. I can't believe that.
Well, and that's probably her, but that's probably her own thing in a similar way, right? She probably assumes that everyone else reads books like that because everyone else is aware.
What the hell?
Yeah, I read the hell out of books. I dog ear them. I underline things. You know, if I could, you know, just you can tell it's red.
Yeah, and he's getting in there. We are getting in there with double masculine consume.
Yes.
Yes. And you know this. We tried to warn you. We tried.
I know. Now I'm learning. I know. I just need to say no a little harder now.
We should practice.
Yeah.
Do you want to borrow a book? I insist.
I wouldn't mind, because all my books are probably look the same as all of yours.
Yeah, right. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't have that. I learned a long time ago to let go of the physical object. Like if I insist somebody borrow a book and they return it, I have to like let that go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Not a deal to me.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to throw in, Magda, before we go on to the next video?
Well, I'm very meticulous with things, so it's very serious and it's in demon state, so I'm crazy about it. So with the reading, with strange reading of the book, I am in that area actually. So like,
sorry, I made
yes,
fun of
so
it.
I'm that weirdo. I'm weirdo in this area.
No, that's fine.
For Magda, I'm
and
just like, you're a bitch.
like
Sorry.
like everything in sensory need to be um like like when I'm cooking with my kid is messy because my kid is a kid, but I'm like, I allow my kid to be messy, but to care about my clean space. I am cleaning for myself, not for my kid. But it's sometimes like I try to be more easy about it, but I really don't want to cook dirty way. Like it's a lot to cook with my kid.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
You're expending
so
demon FE for that. Like it takes a
yes,
effort.
yes, and I had to also face the unexpected sensory when I was bathing her. Like when she was a little kid, she was like making water everywhere, right? So a lot of time I was all wet,
Well,
and the heat of the way the heat of this water was always like, what happened? It was sensory. I didn't expect it. Like, why I'm wet? Why you are making me wet? And it was like, don't do it. I don't like it. So I don't like when sensory is making me like annoying me.
yeah.
Like I like when everything is predictable in my space, so I am cooking the way it's clean for me, and whenever someone else is making chaos, it's like, oh no, I can't handle more, as I'm trying to make this area as appropriate, easy for me. But whenever someone else, like another parameter I need to take into my equation, is making me this chaos, I'm like, I won't handle it. It's too much. Like I can handle my SI, my weak SI, but another one is like, oh my god, too much. Because I need to do stuff and your stuff at the same time, and this is like too much. Like, so leave me alone. I will do my stuff my way. And like with the reading of the book, because my friend borrowed me her book, and I was very careful with every page, because I knew I need to return it, and I don't want to like make her mad at me. So I didn't want to face hate from the tribe that you destroy my book, right? So it would be like devastating to me. Like the fear in my mind is like overwhelming. It never happened, and yet I am like stressed very much. But that book was about how to about kids, let's say. And my kids somehow get this book and destroy that book. Oops. Right? So yeah, so I have to explain what happened, and I immediately say that I will pay I will
buy a new one.
Buy a new one, yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, it's a great book. I would like to have one for myself. Of course, it's a lie, because I don't want that book. If I would want to have that book, I would never borrow it, but buy it. But okay, I will tell the lie for you to accept my apologizing gift, not gift, because it's like my payback for what has happened because of my what happened, right? So I took responsibility for what happened with and she was like, yeah, fine, like you can return that broken one, like I don't care. And well, maybe four
even.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, don't make yourself any problem. It's like, it will be, I already read it and it will be in my shelf. So I will never look at it then there again. So don't bother. And I was like, no, it's serious. I need to pay back you this book because I destroy it. So this is how, yeah. So
That's similar to the
So-
Shan story.
What do you think, Julie, that you are more like casual about it, and Sasha too? Because I'm wondering if Flex Higher cares about that more, even if the person, the owner, the original owner, doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because like I would be like, please, you can return it like with fucking no, I don't know. Like I'd just be like, I don't care. Like it's just a thing.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
actually
even
feel-
like try to get people to return things really. It's
Yeah,
like if
like-
it's like, well, there it goes.
that's like I'm like I don't give a shit. Like it's just like I said it yesterday at work today. I was it's I don't remember the exact situation, but I go, I'm from upstate New York. I like trash. Like I make it a joke for everybody because I don't care so much that like I want people to fucking relax around me. Like
Yeah.
it's like I really mean it. Like it's like they care more about it, and I'm like I don't care. Like that. Like I pretend I'm sloppier than I actually feel. Like I like making fun of myself even to put others at ease, because I'm like I don't care about the sensory. Like I know like usually I'll have makeup on whatever, but I'm like in real life, like I'm just like I love garbage. I live in a trash. Like, I exaggerate. I'm playful, but I'm like, please, like I don't care. Like come as you are, type of shit. Like always.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting the difference in 1 and 2 to me. I wonder if it's a
Yes.
higher, obviously Flex.
Yeah.
I would just add one thing, that if someone will destroy my book, I will say that don't worry. I will. You can return me that damaged book. That's okay, because I want to, like this. I want to be liked. You know, I don't want to be that bitch that required to return the book the way it was,
Mhm.
because that book was damaged not by my fault in my story, but still I took responsibility for what my kid did. So you know, like I cannot owe someone, but someone can owe me, you know. So I can, like, for the sake of having if I can buy good connection with you by telling you return me damaged book, I'm it's still
Right.
trade-off. Like if for me it still holds the logic that you will, you know,
Yeah, the
like
favor.
I'm buying untangible things with that book, damaged
Can
book.
I ask, as like you also are responsibility high, but it's like making me like, it's like, why would you lend it to them in the first place if you need it to be immaculate? That's for everybody who lends in the first place. I feel like
Yes.
it's like, why did you let them
Yeah.
have it when we're all human beings? And it's gonna probably get messy. So not to be like, why, like towards you specifically, but I'm curious because I have you here that says that you actually do care. Like, why do you let them have it if you're worried about its condition?
I'm not so yeah, I think the condition is not important for me, because this is sensory that I don't care, but I care that okay, you damaged something that belongs to me, so you owe me something. So I would like you to owe me being nice for me.
Okay.
So this is my way of thinking. But why I would borrow that book?
Yeah.
I would borrow it because Sasha is
I
in darkness.
I know. I got really distracted.
Okay.
No, like it looks so like
Sasha's
word? Like,
dungeon.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
Wow. It's so cool.
It looks good, actually.
It does look really cool.
So I would borrow that book because, for the sake of exchanging information, this is still some play with a person that and I have that book. Like maybe you would like to check it out. It's really fun, but I wouldn't be happy that that book returned to me damaged or didn't return at all. I may forget about it, but I would blame myself that, oh fuck, I forgot to take that book back, because this is my book. It's my property. So I can do with my book, like it's in my in shelf in my mind. It's still there, so but not physically, so I need to get it back to be like in line with what I possess.
Yes, like I feel like we have
SI,
like did you ever see, what the fuck is that movie with Dr. Sleep?
Yes.
You know how there's like I can't even remember. I'm so bad at sensory today, on top of being bad at sensory, but they have some sort of like structure of bad memories in that movie. If anybody has seen this, can you help me, because I totally butchered it. But anyway, there was a point there. It's like we have these like libraries that we make in order to keep our sensory, I feel like, because it's so fickle. Stop laughing at me. No, it's fine. For those of you who don't know, I've worked my 200 million different number 2 jobs, so I am sleep last, burnt to a crisp today. Just a disclaimer. But anyway, I forgot exactly what
I'm sorry.
saying.
I was also laughing at Sasha because Sasha is trying to figure out her so it's not just you. We're all like, we're talking about the sensory and we're like, oh my god, and the sensory, and then we're all just like completely just like visually struggling with it.
This is our type, all of us right now. And we're so damn lovable at the same time. Okay.
Survivability, that's Darwinian right there, right? How else would we have survived?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly it. If we weren't so goddamn adorable, we'd be dead.
This is how we made it, because we're so delightful.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just yelling at you. I'm just I'm on my sleep last crash.
No. Okay, we love you. You were talking about Dr. Sleep, and it had to do with...
Well, I was starting to say it for what... because Magda, you were saying that it's in the bookshelf in your mind. And I basically, it was a long-winded way to say, I feel like we all have that somewhat, it's like a type thing to have sort of like, well, yeah, demon sensory or SI in general probably has that. But ours is like it fucks with us if our sensory that we put there is missing. Because it's fickle anyway,
yes.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys do get neurotic about your house then, right? Like, it's so hard for me to get my house where I want it, but I really love things to have a place.
I'm more like that at work, like, because I live with a number 2 as well, and we're trash people, as I was saying, trash. I'm exaggerating, but we just like, we don't like, we're not super fixated on things being very neat, but at work, that's when I start getting really like, they're like, oh my god, hello, we do it this way.
That's true. I've worked from home a lot. So I work at home like I did in grad school, and now it's like I'm a mom, so like that's kind of working from home. So it is like I want things exactly to have a place so I know where they are when I need them. So it's not just, but it is a demon and it crashes around me and it takes me forever to get things to a good place, but I want it so bad.
Yeah.
It depends on the thing. Yeah, it depends on the thing. And I have more of a thing where if things are gross and slimy and, caked, that upsets me a lot more than things being a little out of order. As long as they're within the general area of where they're supposed to be, because so that I can have some sort of time management or fake it, you know, in my life. If I have to just continuously look for, I actually really love organized people, and I'm not organized. I love organized people, and I actually like seeing organized people battle their organization. That I don't care, just decide, you know. But yeah, it's funny. They get mad at each other, but they tend to like me because I'm fine with whatever they decide as far as the organization goes. But let's, you know, I'm constantly like wiping things off because it seems like that's where I get all freaked out, you know, if things are really grimy and disgusting. Anywhere I go, I'm just like, oh.
I'm pretty good with surfaces too. Yeah. By the I'll let it go throughout the day. So I don't know compared to other people, maybe like sometimes throughout the day, but like if I've let it go, it's like usually by the end of the day, it's like I'll do a full wipe. But I mean, being a mom, I'm like always wiping surfaces.
I don't do it as much as I should, but I think I do it more than anybody else around me right now. But I'm not around a lot of germaphobes right now. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Well, I was just bringing it back to Magda's thing. It makes sense, and I was also I feel like I could keep asking about that specific thing, like if it's more of like the person that like borrowed something and then like it's a decider thing that they didn't return it, so you're like, ouch, like why are you not considering me? Or it's more of like the missing bookshelf, the missing book space in your mind.
Like, missing, the second one. So not the decidery that you didn't remember about my DI. How could you? No, it's not like that. It's like more a missing SI again. No, I missed it. Like again, like it's making me anxious in terms of like I know it was there. I know it's mine as well. So I never forget about it. But there was a place in my home and it's missing. And I'm like, where is it? Who took it? Yeah. So this is like missing information more like than no one is remembering about me.
I could see how that's also intuition too. Like in that,
felt like
intuitively, you know that you had. Well, I don't know if this sounds dumb, but I can see how it's like, oh, like I had this thing here and now it's gone, so it's like kind of bugging you.
No,
like it's the missing history, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like you quite put your finger on it, but something is now wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have about the things in my home. I have this as well, like with the dishwasher. Dishwasher can be organized only in a way I like. Whenever my husband is doing it another way, I just cannot look at it because it's making me anxious. Like, no, there, why you put that knife there in that place? It shouldn't be that way. So I'm like, oh, no. And
if it has a practical, if practically it shouldn't be there, then I think we're all kind of like that. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Or I'm looking for scissors and they are not in the place that scissors should be, and I'm like, where? So I need to ask for help, and I don't like. You see? So I prefer to have my order in place so I can live in peace.
Yeah, and for me, this is where because we were all talking about this a bit in the chat on Friday or Saturday or something. This is where there's a division of labor. So like the dishwasher is Parker's duty, and he also cares more about where things are placed in it, but he's also the engineer, which you are also like an engineer, even though it's much more abstract of an engineer than Parker, like, but he really cares about where things go because he cares about the lifetime of the machine, because he doesn't want it to break, right? And that kind of thing. And so he really cares about it, so he does it because I'm like, I don't want to know where it goes, and I do enough other things, right? But it is like the things that I use, I care about, but yeah, but Parker, yeah, but my husband has SE, so that is the weird thing. Even though I have demon SI, I like things organized more than he does because I still have SI, but he actually does like my SI. Like he'll like try to trick me into his office where I will just go and like try to organize it for him because it's just like like SE chaos everywhere. And so I do like creating that, right? It's like definitely a demon. It's definitely not something I do all the time. I definitely want to specialize it. I want things to have their place so that I don't have to think about things. Which is similar to what you were saying too, Magda. It's like, yeah, I just want I want it to be like, I need scissors and I go get them, not like, oh my gosh, no, where are they? Now I have to spend sensory time looking for these sensory
and worry
things.
about and narrowing down. Exactly.
Yeah. So I have, that's interesting, a bit of that, but I will not control the whole house. I will be like, but these are yours, and if he's a mess about it, I will be like, well, that's yours, but eventually I usually do end up helping him when I think I can get the space good, I suppose. Yeah. I'm the little ISFJ, you guys. I wish. Like, I love it. Like, whenever I do that, I'm like, oh, yay. It feels so like, demon good. Look at what I did. Like, I showed some friends one time, like, all these, like, oh, they were making fun of me. I got all these baskets, and I organized all this stuff in all these baskets, and they were like, wow, basket lady. Like, and they could not stop making fun of me. Like, I was so proud of it. And they just, like, ragged on me so much.
You're peacocking, yeah.
Yeah, I got, like, and I was really amazed with myself in the moment. And I was like, okay, you guys, thank you for reminding me that this is clearly a demon.
And I would actually praise that person that, oh, you are happy about some let's say silly little thing. Oh, I will cherish you as well because for you it was tough. So that's important because that person have own like worldview, like maybe different than me. So you think you did something great, then yay, I will tell you words of affirmation that you are great, you deserve to be happy, and so on and so on. So yes, I like to point people that they think that some, like for example in my work, some guy said that, oh, but my work is lame and I'm not enough for that job or something. And I said, no, you are a great person. And I like make him uncomfortable because of I praised him so much that he's like with people like you we will make great things, just trust yourself, and so on and so on. So I'm sometimes like lose connection with reality because I focus on a problem. That person is like diminishing himself too much, like you shouldn't, or he's happy about something silly, let's say, and I will, yay, that's great. Yes, and this is only because to make that person in a state of praising that little win, or not to go too deep into something bad that shouldn't be. Like I want to be that person that will be right, right, not supportive. Behind, supportive.
All right, Sasha, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So me. Okay. Well, this one is. I look back at myself and I see myself making some smart points, but being really, really stupid about it. And I'm really glad we did this because going back, I wouldn't have seen this before, and adding the socials to it really helps me understand how deeply flawed my complaints here were. Not necessarily the complaints in themselves, but how I chose to go forth to how to handle it. And it's kind of painful to see, but I'm really, really, really happy that I would do things completely differently now, especially kind of armed with not only my type, because this is my typing video. I'm talking about a job that I was let go from, with the second one within the year during the pandemic, because I was being way too three cautious. Like, wait, not two, three, two, TOO, three cautious. Yeah. Like, and I really believe that there are times where three's voice of caution is very valid, and that's and has a place in the tribe, in all different flavors. But instead of focusing on the roadblocks, let's focus on a way to get around the roadblocks appropriately. Let's not just let them stop us. And I let it stop me way too much. So we can watch, and you guys can decide.
And what's the video from? Like, why was the camera on?
Is my typing video.
Typing video.
So I didn't know what type I was yet. I thought I was an ENFP. Had no idea. Okay. I thought I was a double masculine ENFP.
Aww. Probably a bit of a specialized.
This is yeah, right. This is from my job as an events coordinator at an animal shelter. So I was there for 3 months.
But yeah, and I restructured a lot of programs for safety, because nobody was training anybody. Nobody was training the volunteers. Nobody was training the staff. There were several dog fights that I had seen that, you know, people didn't know what to do, and I helped break one up when I was there, because they didn't even know how to separate them. It was pretty bad. So I, you know, set up all of these protocols, which was, you know, using protocols from other places, that was free information, but also with the knowledge that I had, and just really, you know, communicating with everybody, you know, just to the best of my ability. And I felt like, you know, she kept telling me I was doing a really good job, and you know, I kept getting happier, but then, you know, the operations manager was fired and was told to say that she had resigned, which I thought was kind of weird. And then somebody else left their position and took over somebody else's position who quit, and that position didn't get refilled, and that was also like a manager position. So there's 2 big manager position holes, and nobody wanted to fill those. And suddenly the main boss was overwhelmed, and she very, very, you know, very little time, but she still said I was doing a good job, but it was during her second vacation within the 3 months that I had started, and she kept pressuring me to immediately start, and I don't think this was like a board decision or something like that, because she went to a meeting with the board, and then right before she left for vacation, she said, so when are you going to start the events? And I said, and at this point, it was the beginning of March. And I said, well, I figure we could do April and still have virtual before then, like we've been doing, because just to give people enough time to get vaccinated. And because that's what I had told her before, and she said, yeah. And this time she said, I need you to do it right away. She didn't give an explanation, and I kind of feel like it had to do with some money, even though she had told me recently before that we were doing fine with money. So she had like excess money or something like that. It's weird. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, I can still raise funds like we have been doing, you know, virtually. It just seems like they just, I think this is late February, sorry. They just issued a bunch of warnings to not do crowded events, even if you are vaccinated. So, maybe we should just hold off for a second. And I still want to plan around the cicadas because I don't know about them. And, I was giving her my concerns. And, the truck I hear is missing where we take the dogs, like I hear is missing a part. So we need to get the truck serviced. And I'd like to get the oil changed before I start taking it out. And she said, well, I need you to start going out right away. And that was it. She didn't give me any more information. And I was like, well, okay.
Well, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Why would you leave us hanging?
Okay, yeah, the next words out of my mouth were, but, yeah, no. No, I'm not doing it. And of course, no machine, no, yeah, you cannot push me to do something that I don't want to do. And then it was goodbye to me. So that I look at that now, and what I see is blaming the management. Even though I was management, I was still blaming the management, and I was all about safety, and I wasn't looking to, okay, so she wants me to take them out now. How can I take them out now? I could have said, yes, let's get the truck fixed now, and then we can take them out. Instead, I said no, because we need to take the truck out. You know what I mean? And no, instead of finding people who were vaccinated already and comfortable going out, I said no, because I was scared, because I wasn't completely vaccinated yet. And I felt like I needed to be responsible for all of these people, even though I didn't check with them. I thought I knew what was best for everybody. And it would just, the demon responsibility, I felt like, would haunt me for the rest of my life if anybody got sick, if anything happened with the truck, if, go on and on and on. And of course I threw the cicadas in there. I thought the attack of the cicadas,
I saw you laughing. I think like part of like my I don't understand your job super well. So like,
yeah,
why were
I was in charge of all of the volunteers, and I revamped a lot of programs so that they could actually work. And I mentioned the training part because it was a mess. Yeah, nobody was getting trained, and I actually was getting everybody, trained, and everybody was coming to me with problems. It was kind of horrifying, but I was actually really proud of myself. Flex. Because I was actually getting stuff done, and TI getting stuff done, and ladies, and how we do. And I was so proud, because that was my first real, I'd been an editor before and things like that, but that was my first real kind of management position where I was looking over all of these people and all of these animals, and I was like, interviewed by the news a lot, and oh my gosh, Demon Blast interviewed by the news. It was funny too, because one of the ladies had me say the thing over and over and over again until I actually exhibited more emotion. She's like, actually act like you care. Because I was just like, well, we have the food pantry, and it's this and this and this and this, and everyone did a great job. And she's like, okay, well, these people really worked hard and contributed, like, show some emotion, so we'll try it again. And I'm like, wait, what? I show emotion all the time. Anyway, that's an aside, but
that person maybe had some FE, huh?
Yeah, yes. I think definitely masculine FE.
Oh yeah.
Cut, let's do it again. We have to show this emotion. And I understand that she knew the audience and what would move the audience.
Yeah.
So we did, and it worked. So got some local 5 seconds of stardom there, right? But I didn't really care about that. I was more excited to that I saw everything flowing in a good way until it was like that abrupt decision. Hey, go out into the crowd of people where you guys, first of all, I think I've mentioned before to you, sometimes I do get those panic attacks in crowds. And so I think that stopped me there too, but I can handle that. I mentioned to you guys before too that I had breathing problems at the time, so I was a little bit nervous to go out to the crowd not being vaccinated, but I let out all of that stuff stop me, and I could have made it work. And I think a 1 or a 2, or maybe a 4, I don't know, anyone who wasn't as afraid as a 3, and me in my state at the time, not realizing how I sounded and very blamey and just like, road closed, signs up, like I feel like would have made it work. And I feel like that is a huge lesson. And I could have done it safely. And I think that's what 3s bring to the table a lot, is pointing out like, hey, look at that, look at that, look at that, watch out, watch out. I think testers kind of do that too. So I think we have it kind of double. Like, oh, let's taste this and make sure that it's safe, for the tribe. Let's smell this. This doesn't smell right, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Maybe that's like more of a 3 tester thing.
I see you as someone who talks about improving systems quite a bit. I would believe that you do that really well, and you seem to really go you also go work in systems. Like this was a veterinary system, right?
Yes. Well, this was an animal shelter. They did have a veterinarian on staff that I was also in charge of those volunteers. That was another kind of little hell area.
My point is, I don't see myself doing what you, like, putting myself in that place. And I think from what I've heard from you that it sounds like you have that as a skill. So that was my way of agreeing.
Oh, gotcha. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, I'm done talking. That was a lot. Sorry.
No, it was good.
I could see how this video could be like explaining like a number 2 or a number 3, I guess, from my perspective, because you're aware of like how everything is affecting the flow. But in my alleged blah blah number 2 position, I would say the I heard process the lack of communication on both sides. That's what stood out to me. And the Joker pictures in the back, like, because I also have art with creepy eyes in my house too. So I was like struck. It's weird. It's a thing, but it was interesting to me. But that aside, they just told you why. They just told you to do it without telling you why. So I noticed that like communication lack there. And then on your end, like you didn't feel comfortable doing it, but you didn't tell them why, or like that you didn't tell them that. So like, I feel like
I did afterwards.
It was You didn't, like when they were like, do it because I said so, and then you were like, here's why.
Oh, here's why I'm not going to.
I won't. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, I guess because I didn't hear it in the clip. I was just like interesting that nobody would elaborate further. So I would say like maybe that's what makes somebody a number 3. It's just like, nah, this is what I'm talking about, or this is what I'm concerned with. As far as specialization, that's what I'm like kind of making it. It's kind of a one-dimensional way of looking at it, but it just stood out to me that they were like. But yeah, you were saying that you did explain your why, so I guess it's not a complete picture. But the lack of communication stood out to me. The end.
Do you guys hate that? Just do it. When someone's like, no, just do it. No.
That won't be
happening. I tend to not be in that situation, I guess. Okay. I'm sorry, I have to think about it. I think, I think I pushed back. It's like, right, I was in grad school, so no one ever says just do it in grad school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good that they don't do that.
There's other issues with how things are handled, but yeah. And then
Oh, right. Of their, yeah.
yeah, at
They're
Home
always-
Depot, yeah, I was processing at Home Depot. I really created my lanes, but I had two bosses, and the nighttime boss was a responsible boss, and he never said just do it. I guess let me see if, okay, since we're talking specialize with you, let me see what, like, you think about this. Like, I very much was like, I do plumbing, and that is like my specialization, like, because we had to unload a truck, and then we had to go do pack down and take care of all the aisles. And the responsible people, now looking back, I'm like, oh, they were always getting on me because they're like, but this needs to get done over there, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And I'm like, I will do that after I do my plumbing. Like, I would always take care of my plumbing unless we were severely short-handed. But I even had to specialize that. Like, I had to figure out what bays I could let go so that, like, it wouldn't blow up next week. And like, it was like I had to specialize how I would handle the responsibility. But, like, my responsible boss would look at me a lot, and he'd be like, you're just standing there. And I'm like, well, every time I do a bay, first I make a plan. Like, I do a lot of it in my mind before I act, and then when I act, I go boom, 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 boom. And he was like, but you're always just standing there. I'm like, do I get my job done? He's like, yeah, but you could get more done. And I'm like, I couldn't, though, because I'm working when I'm okay, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit. Sorry, it's just like really eye-opening because of I would be that guy, like,
yeah,
hey, we really need you, and I wish I didn't have to tell you. I wish you could be proactive, but like, I would never think that you're like working out what's in your specialization.
Yeah.
Like, I would just be like, what an ass. Like, meanwhile, I'm just, gonna get sick because I just am like all the time. You know what I mean? Like talking about how number twos are gonna have a heart attack because we're like, fuck every direction. But like, meanwhile, I'm going, you're the asshole. But like, really, we're the ones who are gonna like break down one day.
We all need each other.
It's where the blame is, right? Yeah, where we're pointing the blame, because Julie was doing an amazing job in her section, and she probably had very few, if any, customer complaints in her section. So I look at that, and my first reaction is, well, that's the fault of the company, because they are messing up the hiring process, because obviously if they're so short-staffed, they're doing something wrong. And so that's where I'm, and places like that I found lately have been short-staffed, like to the point where they're beyond skeleton crew. So I'm like, well, you're doing something wrong. You're trying to get away with something. That's your scam. You're trying to have the very minimal people, and then you're throwing in the poor twos to run around and make up for it all, and they're gonna, they're smeared like peanut butter, like all, and they're not, this is ridiculous. So I'm looking at the corporations and just getting angry. So that's again how I kind of, I'm almost 100% sure I'm a 3, just because of where my default blame goes,
I see the difference in how because I would just, it's like, well, I gotta be the human fucking film anyway, or like whatever, I can't think of the right word. Like, I'll do it anyway, and like, just be like fit ill or whatever it is. Like, and then you're just like, no, I'm sorry, this is like, you can't do this, or what, like, it's a different, it's sort of different in how we handle.
Right. And then I hear, you hear like the customer complaints. They're like, well, that person I knew was filling in. They just didn't know what they were doing. They were just trying to do it real fast and then go somewhere else. And you know what I mean? And then the product that I got was not what I wanted completely. It was not good. With the person who's normally here, who specializes in this, I wouldn't have been complaining. Things like that. So that's kind of where my mind goes. But I also really, really appreciate to an immense degree, because I do see them filling in the holes, and they do come and help when things get just so intense, and suddenly they're there like angels. Yeah. You're just like, thank goodness. But I don't want to do that. I will, but I always feel just very, very stressed if I have to spread myself thin, you know, because I know that I'm not doing as good of a job.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And well, and it's like I'm not capable of it. Like when they would go, it's like I would get less done. I don't know, but like I said, it was like I learned to like kind of specialize that. But I guess like I have them in the middle or whatever. Like I learned what I could let go here and what I could do there and how I could go back and forth and trying to handle it and learning who to talk to. Like, but it is just looking back, it was like it's so clear to me now that it was just such a specialized thing. And yeah, and exactly. And I always really appreciated him as well because I was like, yeah, you get it done. You make it happen. That's why you're our manager too, right? Because like when it's short, nobody's working harder than he is. Like, you know. And so it made all of us work hard too, though. It was like, because like I saw my own failure. I didn't understand it as this specialized responsibility thing, though. Back then, I just thought it was like just my INTP-ness. It's so fascinating that it's like not that. I said it again.
Every time.
Everyone must consume our INTP-ness. Yeah.
Okay, Magda, what's your response?
Yeah, as a person who's working in corporation, and we sometimes need to do some things that are, let's say, not necessarily justified to do, like filling some metrics for the management that is, let's say, wasting our time. So this is quite big complaints from my coworkers, but not for me, because I actually believe that those metrics, at least some of them, are quite important. But because it's additional work for them, they complain because they don't want to do it. It's management staff work, so why I have to do it? So I get it, but those data will say what is happening on the, let's say, lowest level. So the information will be the most truthful. So the raw, real data will be there. So I actually am agree to do it, and as I think the only one person in my team, some of people in the tribe, like 150 people, are willing to do it, but we are minority, and so I'm okay with doing unnecessary work for some time. It's okay. I can do like meaningless work for some time. But on the other hand, sometimes, like in my previous job position, when I saw that like in our lab we have like mess, we don't know what we have, we cannot assess how to approach to our hardware, so we need to have labeling, but there is a lot of hardware to be taken care of. So people that are owners of that racks with the hardware in it had to take time to make some silly labeling because I said so. But I said it to make more work now that will buy us time in the future. So because we will take care of SI, we won't need to think about like when problem will arise, we will have let's say shortcut to deal with it, because we won't need to like look for where this cable is leading, because we have the labels, or we have the table, or we have all the info. So I was the person that was saying like, let's gather info to some data center, let's say, and make it more transparent. So not to deal with the sensory, but have it all already resolved. So that's my point. So I may, so I was in like I was in both situation when I said that we need to make more work and ask others to do this, and I was asked to do more work for the management to gather the info for us. So I actually believe that this is actually good to do it. I always can find explanation why it may be beneficial. Not always. If I'm specialized enough in some area, I will fight for that. No, we won't go this way. Like you need to pass me to make us do it. So yeah, I can fight for the most optimal solution in my work, like in my workplace. But if it's going through like the top management, let's say, like project management, I cannot fight with anyone. I just need to agree that okay, I have to do it. But fortunately, we have those asks are reasonable, and I'm not bitching around because of it. Like I see the reason, and it will take some time, but come on, half of hour a week, it's not that much, and I can spend that time. And all the rest of my team is not happy about it.
Yeah. So that sounds like an example of you using Specialize.
Well, yeah,
Right?
if I am specialized in an area, then like I will die for what I know, because I know what I know.
Well, I mean, did I see that right?
It sounds like it.
Well, I was thinking about what Melanie said, that she will tell people to do something because she didn't realize that they are having their own work. While I know what, like in my work, I know what people have to do, but I will take that another unnecessary task to do because it has to be done. There is a reason. They may not agree to that this is reasonable for them, but because this is reasonable for me, and I am in charge of that people, so they will have to like follow it because I said so.
Right, exactly. Because you've
I
done
could
the
take
flex,
another task.
because you've done the responsibility, now you see that this Specialized needs to come in up to that. It's like, I feel like that's...
Yeah. If I can take this task, anyone can take this task. Okay, it will cost time and hard work, but that's why we are hired to hard work.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that is kind of like similar, like kind of the reverse of what I said. Like I feel like I really see it with the third social, where it is like we really do it once we feel like we can get those first two out, then we can come in and be like, okay, well, it's just a half an hour. Like, right? I've set myself up, I've been responsible, and you're saying, so this half an hour a week, you guys, that I'm being responsible for right now, it's like we're gonna specialize that. And it's like coming back up to it. It's, yeah, very cool. I feel like that's what I see.
It's not cool because I cannot be manager of people, because I would be, the one that will, I would be the Hitler. Like I don't want to argue. I am the manager here. Like, so because I know it, I don't want to be a manager because I don't want to crush people. It's like they didn't sign to be crushed by their manager. Manager should be supportive, make like effort to ease pain of the employee, and I'm not that person, so I don't even try to be a manager of people. Like I can manage things, projects, but not people.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's like a gross, like I don't know what the word is, but I've been like naturally like like what's the word, like clamped onto some number ones by like understanding that they're like, I'm not dealing with the people, and I'm also probably going to be really mean to them by going, because I know from all my work experience that I'm really great at managing people, like not to be like, I'm flexing now, but I guess I'm flexing now, because just through so much work, like I understand how to train people, talk to people, be like, we're doing this, but this is why, like, so I can see the number ones doing that now, and then I will automatically be like, I'm your guy, like I got you, like if you can pay me, I'm your guy. I know I talk about this a lot, but like when Magda starts talking about it, I was like, I always sense that, and I just am like, okay, I got you. Like this is my job now. It's a weird thing that happens all the time, because it's like, because I have responsibility, I see the need for it too, and I'm like, let me just do it. If it's like either frustrated, I'm like, all right, I feel their number one like flex that I don't have up top, but my flex is that I know that I can fill this role. So it's like, all right, let me like join my flex to their flex, and like we're a complete puzzle or whatever.
No, it's very cool. I mean, that's what I'm seeing, and that's like that's kind of what I saw a little bit with the Tony Robbins versus Gary Vee, although I felt like the video he showed was more portraying kind of the physicality of these double masculines as well. But like whenever I saw them next to each other, it was like I was seeing who they are and how they get there. And exactly, Tony Robbins, it is like, no, I flex because I'm responsible for all the people, therefore I'm awesome. Like it's that third thing down there. Yeah.
Because then I go, okay, I'm allowed to now, because I know that I did the best I could with the work of responsibility, like to care of, just like that, exactly like that.
Yeah. Yep. And I can't help myself, and then we'll move on, but if you've seen the movie Moana, I realized that I have to share this. I like Moana is a 1, which like she shows up at the island and she's like, I am Moana and you will board my boat, and I'm just like, that is not how I would handle it. That is a 1. Just going there and you will board my boat because I'm saying it. But she's an awesome one, right? She's getting some good things done. I love her in that movie. And I thought that Maui, who's played by The Rock, was a 1. But because he has that whole You're Welcome song, which is all flex. But literally the song is you're welcome for moving the sea for you, for creating the skies, for getting these islands. He's literally saying, I did all of these things. I was responsible for all of these things, and I did all of it for humanity. Therefore, I'm flexing. You're welcome.
I think it's like tweaking me, because it's like I flex not to be like, I deserve the credit for that. You're welcome. Like
that's true.
Annoyed. It's I have never seen Moana, sadly, so I don't know if that's the tone of the.
It's not healthy, and it's not healthy, and he seems also like he's like an ESTP, double masculine. Like he's also got totally different function, and it's not a healthy but he's also kind of doing it cheekily. He's not actually being like, I'm awesome. He's like, you're welcome. Like he's like laughing,
so like your buddy.
I'll have to see it.
Yeah, because I don't think it could be different for different people, but I don't think a number 2, like the flexes, I would have to like sleep on it, but like the flexes, like that I did that, and it's not like it's more like for myself, like that I know that I can do that I can be responsible for these people. It's not like for you to kiss my feet that I took care of them. It's like so I know I can do this.
I do that all the time. I'm like, hey, I did this for you. You're welcome. All the time. You're welcome.
The difference between 3 and 2, because it's like the credit, I think, is, I'm not sure if that's like a given. It's funny how I feel guilty for saying like, oh, the credit, because it's like I don't necessarily want it. It's just like I know I can do it. Yeah, and that makes me feel good that I was able to do it, because that's what I want to do, is climb to the top of the mountain because I want to be strong. So it's like I did it. I'm strong. It's like feels good for me.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird kind of flex.
Yeah, and I don't And I'll say, like, if you watch that or something, like, when I watched it, like, I never was like, oh, that's Melanie. It was after watching Tony Robbins that I was like, Tony Robbins feels closer to what Maui is, because of the functions and all that. And he's a cartoon character and it's played for jokes. Like, you know what? Yeah.
And I think and in the movie, Maui was hurt very much. So this "You're welcome" comes from hurt place. Like I did so many. Yeah. So I think this matters because it's not like real flex, but the flex that comes from this this weirdness. So I think it may be weird kind of flex, like not flex last, but still can he still can do it, but it's not his primarily default state.
Yeah, thank you, Magda. No, that's very important. Yeah, he did all this and then humanity cast him away to this island.
Yep.
Thank you for that is way more important.
Great movie, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
Love that movie. Okay, so we are going to close there because we've all had a lot to say, and it turns out that we will need more time for the other videos. So we will be coming back to them. Next week, we believe that we are going to have a special guest, Manthe, and we're going to try to, like, help her figure out her social. She kind of has some ideas, but kind of ping it off with us and see how it goes. That is, if all the schedules work accordingly, you'll either be seeing that or the rest of this, depending on our scheduling, because we have day jobs and things. But thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you all for coming, and let's sleep on it.
Yeah.